Hey everyone, welcome to our first ever BiggerPockets Real Estate Podcast Aftershow. This is a brand new idea we're testing out. Basically what it is on the podcast, we always have structured conversations where we're learning about a specific topic or from a specific investor. And the point of this is to do the opposite of that, where me and some of our guests, some of our co-hosts are just going to have casual conversations about what's going on in our individual lives and portfolios. And today I have my good friend, Henry Washington, to just ham it up with a little bit. Henry, what's going on, man?
I am glad to be here talking real estate, chopping it up with one of my good buds, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, I feel like this is actually what we just do before and after every recording. We just turned off the camera and now we're just turning on the camera.
Could be dangerous, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to have to edit this way more than we edit the regular podcast. I'm just curious, what's going on what have you been up to the last couple of weeks? What's happened in your world?
Yeah, man. In my real estate business, it's the same old, man. We are still always looking for deals. So we're marketing for deals consistently. I am buying everything that seems to be a good deal. And then we are deciding what to do with it. Most of the deals that we buy right now, we end up flipping just because that's what the market is giving us. I underwrite my deals conservatively. So we're averaging between 40 and 60 grand net profit on a flip. Whereas most of those deals, if we analyze them as rental properties, aren't going to cash flow. And so we're taking the flip. But when we do find one that is going to cash flow in a good neighborhood, then we're going to keep it. So like of the last 4 deals I bought, 3 of them were flipping, but one of them is a great property that we're getting for a great price that we're going to be all in at under 150,000. We'll be all in at like 140, 130. If we long-term rent it, we could probably get $1,900 a month. And if we short-term rent it, we can get $3-4 grand a month. So that's a keeper for us.
That's a good approach, man, because you're just being opportunistic. But I have to admit something to you. I have gone on record many times. I even wrote it in my book that I'd probably never flip a house, but I kind of want to flip a house right now based on what you've said. And it's just true. Like, it is one of the better, if not the best way to make money in real estate right now. So tell me, like, how much to make that 20 or 40 grand, how much are you putting into those deals?
Yeah, I'll give you a real world example. We've got one listed right now that we paid 200 for. We put 35 in it and we're selling it for 315.
So you're 235 in plus holding costs, though, right? Mm-hmm. What are holding costs? Like, how long does that take you?
60 days to finish.
Oh, that's quick.
Yeah, we turned it pretty quick. It was basically cosmetic rehab, except we built a massive deck on the back of the house to compensate for the sloping backyard that it has. Other than that, it was pretty cosmetic. So yeah, holding costs are on that one, since we paid so much, probably just around $2 grand a month.
Yeah, you were in for maybe 40 grand on 200. So if that sells, you're clearing 100 on that?
A little less, but yeah.
That's pretty good for a 2-month project.
Yeah.
How many of those do you do at a time?
Well, right now we have about 8 flips going.
Woo! But you don't have do you just have 8 different GCs? Like, how are you doing that?
Yes, it's correct. I have 3 different GCs running these projects right now.
That's incredible. Is that the most you've ever done?
Pretty close to. I think we've done it before, but not as efficiently as we're doing it now. This is the most efficiently we've done this many for sure.
Last time we talked, you were looking at doing some assisted living stuff. Are you still doing that, or you're just flipping instead?
Yeah, I am still doing that. That is we have a house under contract right now that we are planning on doing a residential care facility in. And so it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath single family home that we're turning into an 8-bedroom, 6-bath single family home. So we'll house 8 seniors in that home if we get the approval. We're in the stage of the process right now where we have to go in front of the city and get a conditional use permit. So the way it works is if the property is not zoned as commercial, you can get a conditional use permit that allows you to use it as a commercial property with city approval. And so we're going through that process right now.
Do you hire an operator or property manager?
So we're going to operate it for the first year, and then we'll determine if we want to continue as operators or if we want to bring in an operator to do it. But it will be underwritten to pay an operator, yes.
Cool. And it's still in your Northwest Arkansas area?
Yep, it is not far from where I'm sitting right now.
How do you find tenants for that?
One of the problems that we're facing as a country right now is the silver tsunami, right? Everybody's talked about that. So we've got baby boomers that are aging out. They're retiring. They are going into, some of them are going into nursing homes. The problem is in most markets, there are not enough beds to support the amount of people who need long-term care. And the problem that we're facing, that I faced personally, that got us thinking about this, was that my mother has dementia, and we had to find a way to care for her. We tried to care for her in her home, and it was just so much of a problem finding people to come in and care for her who weren't going to take advantage of her. So we had to look at facilities to put her in, and as we did that, it became obvious that finding care at a level that we would want her to be cared for was challenging, and at a price that made sense. You know, in the facilities that you're seeing one caregiver taking care of 10, 15 people. You know, wow. It's hard to take care of anybody with any level of care when you're dealing with that many people. And so we wanted to try to do something about it. Jessica's grandfather also had Alzheimer's, and so they had a similar struggle. And so we said, well, how do we take the skill sets that we have within real estate and try to do something that helps people solve this problem? And so we found this strategy of residential assisted living, because I have another investor friend who does it for a living and has a company who helps people do it. And so we went to a workshop and learned all about it and said, this is the thing, like, this is what we need to do. And so now we're going to be able to provide care where one caregiver is taking care of 2 to 4 seniors instead of 10 to 15. And so it's a much better quality of care. We'll do it in a home and not in some hospital-like facility. And so to answer your question, there's so much demand for it. Like, just having a Facebook page, it will get you plenty of people who are looking for a better care solution.
Well, I'm sorry to hear what we're going through with your mom and with Jess's grandfather. That's really challenging situation, but it is honestly really impressive and inspiring to hear that you've taken what's obviously a really challenging situation for your family and turned it into something that is a good decision for your business. But more importantly, you're just helping your community and able to do something that you find is super valuable and worthwhile and meaningful to you.
If you think about the normal trajectory of a real estate investor, right? They typically will start with a single, they'll move into some duplexes, and then they'll understand that multifamily, you can make more money with less effort. And so they'll move into small apartments and big apartments. Like, that's the trajectory a lot of investors take. I don't do that. I love single and small multifamily because I love the impact I can have on families in my community. Single and small multifamily real estate is about the people. Large scale multifamily real estate is about managing a P&L, managing a business. And that just never, it just doesn't give me any warm fuzzies. I don't get excited about multifamily real estate, no matter how profitable it is. And so I don't really do it. But I do want to grow and scale my business. And so I was looking for, like, how can I do that without doing something that I don't feel like gives me any purpose? And then we came across this where, well, I can cash flow a single family home as well as a large scale multifamily building. So I can stay in my single family niche, but solve a problem that we need in our communities, take care of people, and get that warm, fuzzy feeling. Man, it's just a great fit for me.
I think one of the things that bonded us together when we first became friends and getting to know each other is this idea of mutually beneficial real estate, like trying to find ways that, to improve your own financial position. Of course, that's the point of investing. But like, to do it in a way that makes you feel like you're contributing something to society, to your community. There is absolutely ways to do it. And you're just giving a perfect example of this. This has personal meaning to you. There's clearly a need for it in your community. It sounds like everywhere. And that just seems like a win-win situation.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited about it. I want to hear about your landlord struggles, man. What's going on with that? Like, tell me the tea.
It's just classic nonsense. I need to come up with a word for this, but do you have this experience where you'll have a property and it's just like eerily quiet for a while and you're like, oh no, no one's contacted me for weeks or months and I know the is about to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And just hit the fan last week, and I'm just bleeding money out of this one property. And I just keep taking my lumps like all summer. I have this 3-unit. I actually used to house hack this, so I know this property super well. I lived there for 2 years. It's a great property. It throws off a lot of cash, but just everything decided to break this summer. So we had AC issues when there was a heat wave. So I had to pay a lot of emergency fees. So just in the last week, we had just a supply line to a toilet bust, but no one was home, and it went through like 3 floors of the entire property. So that one sucked, and that cost like $3,500 to fix. So I was like, that sucks, but these things happen. I set aside money, and then literally the next day, my PM called me and was like, the tenants are smelling gas. No. Like, as a property manager, you're like, this is the worst possible situation. And I'm like, usually it's nothing. But then they called the utility company, and they go over there, and they're like, no, there's a gas leak at this property.
Oh, no.
So they red tag it, which means they have to cut off the gas for the whole place. And luckily they do that quickly. No one gets hurt. And it costs, I think it was like $6 or $7 to fix the problem, which also sucks. But then they fix the problem, and they're like, okay, let's turn the gas back on. And the utility's like, well, it's no longer an emergency. I'm like, so how long is it going to take? And so it took them like 10 more days to just come turn the gas on for absolutely no reason.
That's absurd.
And so now all my tenants are asking for refunds on their rent, which I'm going to give them.
Yeah.
But so this cost me $10,000. I think I had like a $13,000 week on this one property from 2 little leaks. So I don't know. It's just one of those weeks. I don't know the best way to deal with it. I just kind of like my eyes glaze over and just like writing checks and not thinking about it.
Yeah.
But when you do think about it, it hurts a little bit.
Yeah, this is the what do you call it? The real side of real estate, right? Like the real side of being a landlord. The part you don't see Instagram videos about. Like you have days and weeks like this where it just seems like it's costing you so much money, and you really just have to remember why you're doing this, and that this is part of it. And I mean, you have to evaluate, right? Like, is this, do you keep it? Do you rent it? Do you sell it? Like, these are when you have those kind of talks and conversations to determine, like, do you need to pivot here? But this just sounds like real estate to me, Dave.
So yeah, I was trying to think of like what lessons I could use from this to teach the BiggerPockets audience. And I think, I've owned this property for 10 years, so I have a $30,000 cash reserve. So luckily this didn't come out of pocket because it's a 100-year-old house and it's a cut up old Victorian. It's in good shape, but these things happen. And I think the thing that I've actually done well is like not mentally thinking that money is mine. I think a lot of people, even when it's reserves, they're like, oh, I have $30,000 in there. It's not your money. It's the business's money. And the business is going to come calling for that money at some point or another, right?
Yes, it will.
So just don't count it. Like, I don't put that in my net worth, like that is a business liability. And I think like that mentality, even though this sucks, helps you a little bit navigate through these times. Cause you're like, it wasn't mine. I was just holding on to it until that plumber really needed $10,000 from me.
Can I ask you some questions for context here?
Yes, please.
How much equity do you have in this property right now?
Oh my God. A lot. I bought it for $715 10 years ago. It's got to be worth double that at least. Paid down the mortgage. There's probably $400,000 in there, probably.
Okay, so you spent $10,000, but you got $400K in equity in this property.
Yeah, a lot of it.
How much money does it make you per year typically?
Oh, it cash flows at least $3,000 a month.
Okay, so
and that's with these expenses. That's with the expenses. Yeah.
Okay.
It's well worth it. It is well.
So
worth it.
you're good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally fine. Yeah. That's why I was saying, like, I just kind of like glaze over. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But then you just remember it's a business. Every business has expenses, like that's just part of the game. And this property is a profitable business.
That's right. That's right, man. What you've just explained is called real estate. It feels like the breaks of real estate, but when you zoom out and look at the big picture, you're like, yeah, I'm fine. This is.
Yeah, I just want to complain to you, man.
Yeah. That's I'm here for it. And then I'm also going to put it in perspective and tell you to shut up and keep going.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, you have a much bigger portfolio than me. You probably deal with this like every day.
Got a call this morning from my wife who got a call from our short-term rental property manager. We have a 30-day stay in there. They paid a pretty penny to be there. And it seems like ever since they got there, every problem under the sun has happened. And now we have a bathroom leak and an HVAC leaking and they want to be rehoused. So, real estate.
That's tough. Honestly, like losing the money sucks, but when I'm really inconveniencing tenants or guests, it like puts this pit in my stomach that that stresses me out so much. I'm like, I really want you to like living here, or I want you to like staying at my short-term rental. And sometimes it just happens. Like you can't plan for a gas leak.
That pit in your stomach is what makes you a good landlord. It's what makes good landlords good landlords. The fact that you actually care so much so that it like impacts how you physically feel. Like we need more landlords like that.
Yeah. It's why I also have a property manager. So I don't lose my mind from stress. All right. Well, that's what's going on. But Henry, one of the other things we've always bonded over is our love of food. What is the best thing you've eaten in the last few weeks?
Oh, wow. Phenomenal question. So one of the best things I ate in the last few weeks, I'm a barbecue snob, mostly because like I grew up in a barbecue restaurant. My dad owned a barbecue restaurant.
We've talked about this. I'm so jealous.
Yeah. And so like, it's hard to impress me with barbecue. And one of the most delicious sandwiches I've eaten in a long time came from a little hole in the wall barbecue place out here. And so everybody knows about, brisket sandwiches, right? Where you just take some brisket, throw on some bread, some barbecue sauce, get a brisket sandwich. In California, we don't have as much brisket as we have tri-tip, where you get a nice tri-tip sandwich. And tri-tip to me is better than brisket. It's more steak.
Tri-tip's so good.
It's more steak than brisket. But the best sandwich that I had in a long time, this little hole in the wall barbecue restaurant, they did a rib sandwich. And so what they do is they smoke their ribs, right? And then you can order a rib sandwich. And so they'll go and they'll hand tear off the tender rib meat. And then they'll make a sandwich out of the rib meat for you, so you don't have to tear it off yourself. And so it's like a pulled pork sandwich, but it's like a pulled rib sandwich, and it was so good.
Is this hole in the wall place the McRib at McDonald's?
That's right. Yes, and it goes away forever and then comes back every year.
Yeah. And then it'll be right back.
Yes,
that sounds so good. I was watching this.
Delicious.
Oh my God, ribs are the best. I was watching this Instagram video of two British people who had never tried ribs before.
Oh, I watched
Go
that.
somewhere in the South and try it with a fork and knife. It was so
and the guy
funny.
was like, bro, not at my house,
he's like,
bro.
No, let me teach you, you idiots. It was so funny. Oh my God. I want to come visit Arkansas just for the barbecue and to hang out with you, but that sounds so good.
It was delicious.
All right. Well, this was a lot of fun just hanging out. We'll have to do this again soon. Let us know what you think of this type of content. If this stuff is useful to you, just hearing to investors talking about what's going on in their lives, let us know in the comments below. Thanks, Henry, for doing this with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dave.
All right. We'll see y'all soon.
Take care.